It's a great joy to work with Marian. I have not worked with her as a concerto soloist, but I've heard her play many times, and she has been just a fantastic supporter of the orchestra and of me, and is really one of the great musical presences here in the Quad Cities. We have such a treasure trove of great musicians here, and so I think it's really important that we honor our local musicians when they can play solos like Marian can.
I came to the Quad Cities about 3.5 years ago in the summer of 2012, and we moved from Delaware, the state of Delaware, and I was familiar with Iowa. I had lived in Iowa City for 3 years prior, from 2005 to 2008. So when I heard that there was an opening at St. Ambrose University, I very quickly put in my application, and I was thrilled to receive the offer to teach here. And it's been a real blessing. My colleagues have been unbelievably supportive, and this community has really all I can say is the Quad City community has been a real blessing to me. I had no idea before moving here that it would be such a seminal change for me, but it has. And I'm very grateful to all my friends that I've made here and the musical community. The piano teacher organizations here are phenomenal, and the kids are great, and I love my university. I'm just really so happy to be here.
Well, we are very fortunate because we have kind of an embarrassment of riches with Mozart piano concerti. Mozart wrote these concerti for himself. I forget the exact number, but it's like 27, 28 concertos that he wrote from very early on, for when he was a little kid playing, and then all the way up to a mature artist, composer, and pianist. And so therefore, when you decide to do a Mozart concerto, it really, as I said, we have just such a great variety from which to choose, and of all sorts of different ilks of passionate and dramatic and stately, and you know, he wrote concertos, the Coronation Concerto, and he wrote dramatic concertos in minor keys. Anyway, the whole problem is choosing from a variety of great pieces.
About a year ago, a day after my birthday, I got a telephone call from Mark Russell Smith from out of the blue, and he invited me to perform with the Quad City Symphony Orchestra, and it was a real honor. And he asked me to choose a Mozart piano concerto, anyone. And so I chose the D minor, and then he said, well, anyone except for that one, because they had recently done it. So of course I understood. And I asked a little further about what the rest of the program looked like. And because it was a December program and they were going to be doing the Nutcracker Suite by Tchaikovsky and some a set of sleigh rides, I decided that I wanted to pick something in the major key. And so I decided on the popular C major, Crucial 467. It has the very famous second movement. You can find that second movement on any greatest hits of the classical music CDs genre, and I'm sure people will recognize it right away. It has a nickname called the Elvira Madigan, named after a movie from the 1960s, which is now obsolete, but the music definitely has carried on and is still popular today. This Mozart piano concerto actually has quite a few cadenza moments, both in the first movement and the third movement. And a cadenza is a spot where the orchestra completely drops out and the soloist is left to kind of show off. And a lot of cadenzas in Mozart have cadenzas written by composers. Sometimes it's Mozart, sometimes it's other later composers. But this particular one, there weren't any cadenzas written by Mozart. So it was up to me to decide either I use one that has been written by someone else or I compose my own. So I decided to do a kind of combination. So for the first one, I did use a cadenza by Robert Cadicius, and but I embellished it and I added some things. And there are also these little tiny cadenzas throughout, which I did compose all my little ones. And then in third movement, since I had so much fun composing the little tiny ones, I decided to go ahead and compose my own one for the last movement. It was quite challenging, and I have renewed respect for what composers go through, their creative process, and the agony of that. But in the end, it was very rewarding, and I'm so glad I did it.